Ladies and gents, boys and girls, Dougs and Digheads, small sons, small sonnies of all ages, is your boy Dak908, the Dig Dug himself, young Skip Dip, and we are going to be talking about Diablos today in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. However, Diablos is an old monster, made its debut in Monster Hunter thousands of years ago when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, and it is basically the progenitor of Brute Wyverns, which is a flying wyvern who decided to, instead of shooting fireballs and doing the standard wyvern thing like Rathalos and Raytheon and so on and so forth, it likes to charge at you and dig, which, you know, Barrett and Urigan and to a degree they all tend to do. So Diablos, being as angry and as wild and crazy as it is basically one of them without the full category tagline and whatnot. Nevertheless, so Diablos is weak to that of ice. There's not a whole lot to him, so let's get straight into the business. He's weak to ice. You want to do the damage on his head because you want to break those horns. Breaking the horns do nothing for you realistically, but, you know, broken horns is broken horns, and that's more materials and so on and so forth. Of course, when he digs on the ground, susceptible to that of sonic bombs. I almost forgot what they were called. Susceptible to sonic bombs only when it's not angry. You can tell when it's not angry when it doesn't have like this black smoke coming from its face, and also you'll know because Diablos is angry. He's very strong, he moves very quickly and whatever. But how to beat Diablos very quickly, I'm gonna keep it very real with you, because Diablos, at least in this game, is broken down to a full science. He doesn't have a lot of attacks. He has digs and he has charges. He charges at you either once or up to 3 times. He'll dig, he'll do a couple of digs. He has what I call the quick dive, where he'll dig in the ground and come basically straight back up where he was. He usually does this more often not when he's tired, but he can do it when he's upset as well. He has the running dive, where he'll dig underground, like go to another area and then jump up. He has this other one where he'll do basically the same thing, but you kind of know when he's gonna do it, because he'll run to like, oh, dig underground, go to a specific area on the map, and then you'll hear zhoo, 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 like you can see the dirt like kicking up from underneath. And then he leaps out of that one. That one you have to watch out for. That's the Kung Fu flying kick attack. Hits you with that, you're gonna do it's gonna do big number. So you don't want to get hit with the Kung Fu flying kick attack. But essentially those are his attacks. He swings his tail like everyone else. He does, however, when he charges, he'll stop and swing his tail behind him. If you know that he has that attack, do not approach Diablos from the back, because if he notices that you're approaching from the back, he will do that attack. Odds are it will hit. Just don't approach Diablos from the back when he's charging. Nevertheless, back to the sonic bombs. So with the sonic bombs in Diablos, if he's not upset, you drop a sonic bomb. Actually, the best thing to do is when he's tired, because when he's fatigued, he will dig and almost immediately come back up. He doesn't usually scurry under the ground to do whatever. If he's tired, you hit him with a sonic bomb. He is, I guess, half submerged in the ground, and then you beat him up, beat him up, beat him up, beat him up. He's in there for a while. Beat him up, beat him up, beat him up. But this is the key component. If you have flash bombs, this works best if you're in a group. Someone has the flash bomb, and as soon as it releases itself from being stuck on the ground due to the sonic bomb, throw the flash bomb. It'll make him flutter in the air. He'll get dunked, and then you beat on him again. And if you're lucky, he will attempt to dig again, but he won't be pissed off, and then you hit it with the sonic bomb, and then just repeat the process. Once you get Diablos in this particular loop, he's just done for. This is the exploit for Diablos in this game. I know it's kind of an exploit, and I probably shouldn't be talking about it, but like, yo, Diablos is a handful, so if you can master this particular thing, or just do it a couple of times, you're going to be in for a fantabulous day. But, yeah, let's check out the armor and gear. For high and low rank armors for both Gunner and Blade Master, their skills are the exact same. The only difference is that in high rank you're giving crit I2 as opposed to crit I1 in the low rank armors. But for Blade Master, you're giving crit I1 or crit I2, focus, and tremor resistance. Whereas whereas Gunner, you're giving crit I1 or 2, tremor resistance, and pierce shot up. Of course, your negative skill for Blade Master is slow sharpen, and for Gunner, you're going to be given precision down. As far as weapons go, at least for the gunners and bow users as well, you guys have pierce and basically nothing else, and I mean it. Like, the heavy bow gun for Diablos has 1 level 1, 1 level 2, and 1 level 3 normal shot, but multitudes of different pierce of all 3 levels. Heck, it's even in the skill you get pierce up. So when you use Diablos gun, you only shoot pierce. Same with the bow. Levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 is just pierce shot in 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the Blade Masters, what we're going to be working with here is we're working with incredibly high attack. Some of the highest attack you'll get in the game, but unfortunately the caveat to that is your sharpness is quite low and your affinity is negative. It's not until generation 4 do we get a blessing where if you have negative affinity, you actually do double damage in some instances or whatever. Forget the name of the skill, but that's a skill in 4th generation. But in this case, you're looking at, again, high attack, low affinity, modest to low sharpness, and in some cases, if you awaken, you'll get blast. Most notable weapons would be probably his lance and his greatsword. Sarah's Symmetry is probably one of the most notable greatswords of like all time, because the attack is so high. Now with sharpness +1 you do get a bit of blue and white and stuff, but again don't really expect a whole lot of sharpness because they have to kind of balance out the high attack with that low sharpness. But honestly, I think his weapons are really good. I suggest you guys at least have one. I mean, don't go super out of your way, but if it's like, you know, right there, I say go for it. Get yourself a nice Diablos weapon because it's going to have some of the highest attack in the entire game, and raw is kind of fun, even though elemental is pretty decent in this game. So to recap, Diablos is the progenitor of Brute Wyverns. By that I mean it charges a lot and it doesn't have... So let's wrap up. Diablos is basically the progenitor of Brute Wyverns. By that I mean it charges and runs around all the time. It does have the dig ability, so to speak, and it can do dig in a multitude of different ways, which can kind of vary its particular playstyle. However, if you do get hit by it, odds are you're going to take a fat amount of damage. It hits incredibly hard. You might want to seriously watch out for that. If you want to do good damage to them, you're going to want to use ice weapons. Ice weapons do fantastic against them. Thunder is also an alternative. You tend to have that and not so much on the ice. Hit him in the head, of course, and the tail, I think the actual tip of the tail is a pretty decent hit zone as well. Other than that, dodging his attacks is going to be pretty tricky because he runs around all the time. However, when he gets tired, that's when you get to take advantage of him using sonic bombs and flash bombs. You can cycle the fact that he goes from being stuck in the ground with the sonic bomb to being dunked out of the air with the flash bomb. Granted, this doesn't work all the time, but it works for a good amount of time, allowing you to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time when you go to fight the monster himself. Again, of course, when he's fatigued, you want to use this more often than not. But he is technically kind of like a Brute Wyvern, so he doesn't get fatigued too often, and he gets really mad shortly afterwards. Regardless though, you're going to need a lot of evasive tactics to actually dodge a lot of his attacks because he just charges relentlessly at you. Again, the dig, he does have that. The quick dig, well, excuse me, the quick dive is when he'll go underground and come right back up pretty quickly. That attack doesn't do too much damage, but it does hurt quite a bit. Don't think you can sit there and tank these all day. He has another variation to that where he'll go under the ground and kind of move around the map a little bit, then come up. Of course, same amount of damage, but the one you really need to watch out for is what I call the Kung Fu kick, where he'll dig under the ground, kind of, you know, survey the area as he pleases, and then you'll see tremors from the ground where he's going to come up from. Once he comes up from that, he'll leap through the sky, doing an insane amount of damage, covering a large distance. So you want to completely get yourself out of the way to avoid getting hit with it and probably losing 70 to 80% of your health. But with that being said, everyone, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. That is Diablos. And if you guys have any other questions or want to see me do a different monster or whatever, I actually don't have any more monsters in the pipeline. So I'm relying on you guys as far as feedback is concerned. What monster do you want to see me do next? With that said, it's been your boy. Take care.